Hello. Okay. So, so you have two department, AC and electrical, both. So what is the total number of students in AC?
And from electrical 42.
42 plus 47. Means 89. Okay. So do one thing. Electrical, who is electrical here?
Me, ma'am.
Shubho.
Shovik.
Shobik ko. Okay, Shobik
Yes.
ko. So do one thing. Make an Excel file and note down your name and roll number, all the student of electrical. Okay. Make
Okay.
an Excel sheet, means give one name, then roll number, two column, and serially from roll number 1 to roll number 42 or
Okay.
47, whatever
Okay, ma'am.
you are, and send it to me in my Gmail. Okay, email ID.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
And next one, who is here? Sayed. Okay. So you also do the same thing. Make an Excel file where you have to add two column, name and roll number. Serially from roll number 1, make that Excel file. Okay. And send it to my mail, Gmail.
Ma'am, please provide your mail ID in chat box.
Okay. Just 1 minute. Okay, aminak77@gmail.com. I have sent already. So, as today is our first class, we will see that basic introduction part. Okay. So, I will, you are first year student, so you are not familiar with me. So, I am Amina Khatun and I will take you this class, means programming for problem solving. So, I will take the theory class and in lab class uh, I will be there, and there is another teacher. We will take that lab class. Okay, and after covering some theory, means after completing some theory class, we will go for our programming lab class. Okay, so we have to install that on my laptop also. I do not have that, so it will be, means after two classes we will be there. So let's start our class. So what do you mean by C language? Do you have any idea? Anyone? Have you studied any programming in C in your HS?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you have it. Means so many students used to take this subject as a optional subject in higher secondary. So those who are familiar, it will be easy to them. But for new student, you will learn, so there will be no problem. So can you see my screen, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So today we'll start from this C language. So C, that C language, you know that this is a programming language. Okay, and it was developed by Dennis Ritchie in 1972 at that period. So first of all, at first when C language was invented, there were other languages in before C. It was the B language. So in programming, there are lots of programming languages, C, C++, Java, etc. So it's just similar that it is a programming language and it is a high-level language. You will see that high-level language, low-level language, middle-level language. So there are three different types of language: high-level, low-level, and middle-level language. But C, it it is it is generally considered as high level language, but in many places you can also, in many books you can also see as considered as middle level languages also, because C has some features and some features which is similar to that high level language, so it can be considered as middle level language also. Okay, so in some books it differs, so that is not a big issue. So at first this programming language was invented by this man Dennis Ritchie, and to develop the Unix operating system. So the purpose behind that invention of this language was to create and to develop that operating system. So operating system means Windows, it is a operating system, Linux, Unix, so all these are operating system. So generally C language is used to develop that system system development. Okay, many compilers, databases. Just 1 minute, someone wants to join.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hmm.
Ma'am,
What?
we consider that C or C++ as a mother language because it was created long back then. So, as you told that we during the development of any OS, we need these languages, but sometimes few iterations are just came out to be runtime error when we when we run any program in C. So nowadays the OS is being just developed by that Java or that Python, as we knew that. C plus C is, does C also use nowadays?
Yes. See, nowadays also C is used. See, operating system, there are lots of operating system and it is depending upon the developer that what kind of languages. Okay. So, but nowadays Java has become more popular, but you can see that C compiler or Unix operating system, it is written in C, but day by day that technology is changing and lots of works are going on. So maybe some developers wants to uh, change that, means to develop that operating system in different language. That is a different issue. But in case of C, at first when it was when it comes, so the main purpose was that to develop that system for programming purpose. Okay, but she has also that other applications also. Later we will come to that portion, that not only for developing that operating system, she has other applications also. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
so so that first when that C comes into play, so at that first time to developing that Unix operating system, it was introduced. Okay, it was invented by that person, Dennis Ritchie. So some features of C are there. So just like C Unix operating system, C compiler, and all other Unix applications program, also those are written in C language. Okay, so the some few points of C you need to know that it is very easy to learn. It is means this language is very easy, so the user can easily adopt that knowledge on this language. And next is it is a structured language, and it also produce that efficient programs, and it can also handle some low level activities. And also we can see that the C, it can be compiled in the variety of that computer platforms. So not only for developing that OS, we will see that other applications of this C language. So facts about C. So at first it was invented to write that operating system for that Unix operating system. And next, before that C, it was that language B language. Okay, so B language which was introduced around that early 1970s. And C language was formalized by ANSI, that means American National Standard Institute, in 1988. Okay, so this C language was formalized by that NC in 1988, and that Unix operating system, it was totally written in C. But you that a student told that you are asking that nowadays there are lots of different types of programming languages, so lots of work is going on, but still now this Unix is in C, written in C. So today that C is most a popular system programming language, and you can see that applications of C in other development, in the development of that database also, just like RDBMS MySQL. So it is written in C language, and Linux OS, that is also most popular operating system, and it is also written in C language. Okay. So as though it was that purpose to develop that system development, but in other applications we also use this C language. So use of C, it can be used to develop that operating system. Next, to make that to develop that language compiler, we also use this C language to for the development of assembler, text editor, or network drivers, databases, just like MySQL, it is written in C language. So in this various, so see, there are lots of application of this C language. So we can use this C language to develop these things. Okay, just 1 minute. So people are joining. So try to join within 5 minutes. Okay. If I provide that link, so try to join within 5 minutes.
Excuse me, ma'am. Uh,
Bolo.
ma'am. Hi, ma'am.
Yes.
Uh, Ma'am, why does that Apple's operating system always use Swift key rather than using those modern things like Java or maybe C? Why don't why they always use their only that Swift key, that platform?
See, why it is used? I do means Apple. I do not know why it is means why they are use that. But I am not bothered about Apple, because I am now I am giving lecture on C language. Okay, so irrelevant question. I do not I do not think to answer. And as question me on that relevant things, I will obviously answer. But if do not waste my time asking some other relevant question.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
So where I was, application of C. Okay. So in lab class, when we will implement this program, we will see that we have to, at first, if you write a program, you want to run that program. So you need a uh, you need you need to write that code in that text editor. So there are lots of the editor. You can write that the program in a notepad or via editor or vim editor, etc. Or then you have to compile that code, and then you will be able to run that code. Okay, so when we will do lab classes, we will see how to write a basic C program and how to compile that and how to run that program. Okay, so before that, let's go to let's see some basic things we need in C program. Okay, so here you can see that in C program it has different lots of components. You can see that commands, functions, variables, statements, etc. So you can see that this is a small just program to just uh, print that hello message. Okay, hello world. So it is just a small program. So this is the basic structure of a C program. So at first, whenever you are writing a C program, at first you have to provide that header file. So this is called a header file, has include stdio.h. Next, we have to whatever that code you are writing in a program, in a C program, we have to write it within that main function. Okay, so this is the main function, and within this main function we have write that code. So here it is a small program, just a very small program. We want to just print your that hello world message. Okay, so to print something in that C language, we need to use this printf function. So what is the purpose of this printf function? Printf function, it is a library function, and it is used to display the message whatever you are writing within this printf. So here you can see that it is a hello world, but if you put your name here, so it will display your name. Suppose you have written that name of that university, printf, within quotation you have written Alia University. So it will if you run that code, you will get that result Alia University. Okay, so this is a small C program. This is the structure of that C program. And note this thing, this is a command line. Okay, so command line means whenever you run that code, this statement will not be executed. So it is why comments are used in programs, because to make that code understandable to that user, so that user can easily understand what is that, what the developer of that code trying to do that. So here you can see here just it is just simple statement that it is that first program in C. So whenever you are writing a command, we have to put this sign. Within this, we have to write a statement for that command purpose. Okay, so command statement will be ignored while you when you compile that code. Okay, so it is that only for that purpose that user can easily understand that. Okay, so this is written how to compile and execute that program. So later we will, when we will do it, so we will do see how to run a program, how to compile that program. So if you compile a program, so if there is any kind of error, so that message will be shown to you, and after fixing those zeros, that program will be able to run. So next topic is the tokens in C. So C program, here you can see that various tokens are used. Tokens, tokens are generally, it is an identifier. Tokens are, and remember one thing, that these tokens are different from the keyword. There are some special keyword in C. Maybe it is 32 number of 32 keywords used in C language, but the tokens are different from these keywords. So token is generally, it is a small unit. It can be considered as an identifier, or it may be a constant, or it may be a string, or it may be a symbol. So just consider this line printf, this uh, consider this line printf, sorry, printf. So here you can see that it is the small unit of that program. You can see printf. Printf, it is a, so there are lots of tokens used here. So printf, it is a token. This open bracket, this is another token, and that whole thing written within the double quotation, this is another token. Next closing bracket, this is another token, and this semicolon, this is another token. So here are this number of tokens. So how many tokens you have in this statement? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 tokens. Okay, do you understand the number of tokens? Hello?
No, ma'am. Please, could you
See,
please explain it one
it
more
is,
time?
I am talking about that number of tokens. See in this line, printf statement. So this is a printf keyword. So printf, it is a token. Next open bracket, this is another token, and within this is the quotation start, and here the quotation is closed. So the whole thing within the double quotation, it is one token. Next, that closing bracket, this is another token, and this semicolon, this is another token. So suppose if you write in this way, that int a semicolon, so here the number of tokens is 3. Okay, so the number of token is 3. One int a, 2, and this is semicolon. This is 3. So number of tokens is 3. So next is semicolon. Semicolon, it is that statement terminator. So remember the thing, that in C language, whenever you are writing a program, every time that statement will be terminated by a semicolon. Okay, and generally students used to do this mistake in that lab classes. So they be aware that in C, you have to properly maintain that syntax. If you do some mistakes, while suppose you have put a you have put a comma instead of semicolon, so it will give you an error. Okay, that program will not be run. That it will not be during that compilation. It will produce that error. So it is, whenever you are writing a C program, so be aware about the basic syntax. So in you are reading C, so whenever you are writing a program, you have to properly maintain the syntax. Instead of any small mistake in that program, that program will not run. It will generate the error. Okay. So
Ma'am,
This
why
is the
slash n isn't considered as token? Whereas slash n is also acting as a function.
mm, what? Tell me,
Ma'am,
what is your question?
in the print statement that hello world slash n, ma'am, why
Yes.
isn't that slash n is also considered as token? Because it is also acting as a function for next line, I think.
It is not a function. First of thing is that if you are considering slash n, that is not a function. Function, you can consider this is used for new line. It is true, but you cannot tell it as a function. Function is a different thing. Okay, and your question is that here you have used this slash n, but why it is not coming under a separate token? Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So the answer is that whenever you are writing anything within this quotation, this is the double quotation. Okay, this is the double quotation, and this thing is considered a single token. So whatever, and you see this slash n is used. This slash n is used within this quotation. Okay, so obviously this is a single token. So whatever you are writing, if you write 100 words also, if you just write anything, suppose you have write so many things, okay, and you have put it, a double quotation. So if suppose you have written this thing, so you cannot you this that whole unit will be considered as a single token. Okay, and if it will be considered as separate token if it is in this way. If it was in different line and it is in different outside that if it is outside that single quotation, then it will a different number of token, but inside that double quotation whatever you are write, that will be considered as a single unit. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So where I was, semicolon. So semicolon, so what I was telling, that every statement will be terminated by a semicolon. So if you put anything instead of semicolon, it will produce an error. So see this statement printf, and here you see that statement is terminated by this semicolon. Here also return 0, this is another statement. So here also we have to put that semicolon. So remember these things, that every statement in C language, it must be ended with that semicolon. So next is comments. So I have already told that this if you have written some comments in your program, so this statement will be ignored during that compilation of that code. So it is generally used so that the user can understand easily. Okay, so for that purpose comments should be used. So the comment started with this slash star mark, just a moment, and whatever the comment you want to give, you have to write it after that, and next you have to close it with this character. Okay, these things. So this is a comment. So whatever you are writing within that, that will be considered as a comment. So next is identifier. So what is an identifier? Generally, it is a identifier. It is a name which is given to any variable or function or any other user-defined item. Okay, so identifier, it is generally it is a name to identify that variable or it is functions or any kind of any defined item. So some rules are there whenever uh, you are using this identifier. So remember these things, that identifier starts with a letter, or that letter, it can be in capital letter A to Z, we have that letters, or it can be or it can also start with an underscore, and after that, after putting that underscore, it can be followed by zero or more letters, or it can be start with the digits also. Okay, so these things. So what you have, A to Z, A to Z, A to Z, or uh, you can write from, you can start with a capital letter A to Z, or you can start with this underscore, or you can start with the digits also, 0 to 9. So only these things are allowed in that. Whenever you are giving that name of that identifier, it you can use this, you can start with these things, but you cannot use some characters. There are some punctuation characters, so we cannot start the identifier name with these things. Suppose at the rate we have, it is not allowed, or you have put a day has sign, this is not allowed, or you have put it, suppose dollar sign, this is not allowed, and you have modulo, you have just put it modular support, this is also not right. So identifier name will only start with this first side four things: underscore, or digits 0 to 9, or that letter A to Z. Okay. So here you can see some examples. So here you can see some examples that identifier name, suppose ABC, that is correct. Or you have put it these things 1 and 50, this is also correct. Or you have given this A underscore 1 to 3, this is also correct. Or underscore temp, this is also correct. Okay, or you have just written in this way. So all these things are all these are valid. But if you use this kind of thing, suppose you have put a name just like underscore ABC, you have put this identifier name, so this is not right. Okay, so this is not right, this is wrong things. Or suppose you have written underscore AB on 2, this is correct, this is because you have started with underscore. Or you have put it something in, suppose you have written just like dollar WX, so this is wrong. Okay, so identifier names only start with that A to Z, capital or small letter, or it is started with underscore, or it will be started with that digit 0 to 9. Within outside these things, we cannot start anything in while you are giving that identifier name. And remember one thing, that C language is case sensitive. What do you mean by this case sensitive? That means whenever you are defining a variable, or you have given a name, identifier name, so what the manner you have written that these things, if whenever you are using that things in the next time, so that will be the same thing, it will not be differ in letter or capital letter, small letter, it will not differ. As you have used first time, that will be used in last time also. So suppose you have put a day, suppose you have given any identifier name as a x, azx, So next time when you will use, if you use suppose aged X, so this is the wrong thing. This is patient. That is why it is called patient sensitive. So this thing and these things are different. So whenever you are using, so be aware of that identifier name, whatever you are using, that will be same for every time. So next is the keywords. So as I have told that C has in C language you will see some reserved keywords, and uh, there are suppose I think total number of that is 32. Just count that you will get maybe. Okay, so these are some keywords it can be. So keyword cannot be used as a variable name or identifier name or constant name. Okay, if you use it will produce it will, if you use in your program, suppose you have used some keywords in your program as a variable name, so while compiling that program you will get an error message. So that identifier name or variable name or constant name, it will be totally different from these keywords. So these are some keywords, suppose auto, else, long, switch, break, int, float, sort, return. So all these are, there are lots of keywords. So all these are keywords in our C language. So I am just as it is a first class and this is a new thing, so I am just finishing here. Okay, so what we have discussed, I am wrapping up those things, given some basic idea about the programming languages, and we have given that idea about C language, and we have seen some facts about C language. We have shown that applications of C language, and we have seen a small program, how to write that program in C language, and we have talked about tokens, identifiers, and also we have read that semicolons, comments, how to use a comment in a program, and also we have discussed about the keywords that are used in our C language. Okay, so this is up to for today's class. So we will start. Someone is requesting after that. Jahid Ali, is he your classmate?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, will you provide this note to us?
Yes, I will upload the material here. You can see. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
After
Thank you.
login, you will be able to see there. I will upload all the materials after covering that classes. Uh, I will upload it. Okay, do not worry about the materials. You will get it. Just note down.
So I don't have classroom links.
I have sent it in your WhatsApp group. You have not got? Then anyone forward him. Okay. Okay. I'm just taking your attendance. Just 1 minute. So, have you understand what I have read?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And one thing, remember everyone, if you ask me question on that topic, on that subject, or it is associated with that subject, I will answer. But if you ask me any question other than that, I will not answer. So, give your attendance. First, I am taking electrical. Okay. electrical. You are lots. There are lots number of students in first year. I'm just looking at roll number and those I have told that make that Excel file. Give me by today or tomorrow. Tomorrow you have class.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I have sent in your mail.
Okay, you have sent me. Okay,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
will check. I'll check. Just 1 minute. I'm checking. Just give me 2 minutes.